Live. Got Sir Rooney and Willie Cook in the house. Here I am. I'm on stage. Howdy, Ricky. Hey, Sir Rooney, you're going to see that you've got a blue wrench beside you. That's just giving you moderation privileges on my live stream in case you see something I don't that's inappropriate. You can boot them out. So Willie Cook, happy 4th. Voting Saturday, try to do anything 95 in the shade, even if it did tools sitting in the sun. Doug, you made it. Awesome to see you, brother. There's my lady. She just got finished mowing her backyard. She had 2 minutes to spare. Thank you, Sir Rooney. Howdy, Wild Bill. Guys, say hi to Lisa. And give Lisa thumbs ups. Howdy, Bill. Tim, great to see you. I was afraid you weren't going to be able to make the live streams here, Tim. We had a good weekend. Lisa and I did. We went down to Indianapolis to Joe. Hey. It's been a semi-busy week. Not been terribly busy. It hadn't been too bad. We had rain beginning of the week, and then it's been ungodly hot. Went down to Cycle Recycle Part 2 down in Indianapolis yesterday. Lisa got to meet Rob, Jonathan, and Angie. And I went down there to get, and you guys can see that's a rather long list of parts for Smokey. Roadrunner, great to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Had a rather long list in my phone. We were able to knock all the important stuff off of it. Some of the little chrome bits and pieces that I was after didn't pan out, but that's okay. I can live with that. I got a lot of sun. We put 120 miles on the bike just yesterday on the Goldwing. Oh, Tim, that's awesome to hear. That is great to hear. Very good news, Tim. I'm looking forward to it. Glenn, glad you made it. Sorry, I'm sitting here scrolling through. Joe, Lisa and I are doing fantastic. I'm doing good. Had a little bout with my neck Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. Sandra Memo Sweener. So we've got Doug and the boss in the room tonight. Hi, Guilford. Wow. Hello, Robert. All right. Now, don't you and Glenn go cohorting and Tim, I'm not backed up. No, I've got the workhorse wheel horse in there doing a full rewire, omitting all of the safeties. And it should be ready to go pretty soon. Other than that, you guys saw the Toro push mower that I just put the video up on, was it yesterday? that I worked on Friday. Um, yes, something, Robert. uh, Old Blue is doing all right. I haven't gotten the starter swapped out on it yet, but I did just degrease around that area so that I can climb under there and get it done. Have the area clean so that when I pull the starter off, I'm not contaminating anything. Um, the starter is just, it's got 256,000 miles on it. And although it'll start, I have to bump the key. Sounds like it's got a dead battery, just goes click, click, click. I have to wait for the motor itself to start spinning. Bendix is working fine. Solenoid's working fine. It's just the motor itself. Uh, Brushes are wore out in it. So I've got a new one just ready to put it in. Winnie is out in the garage. It's been a heck of a. You're welcome, Doug. It's been a heck of a truck. One heck of a truck. Um, it's got the 4.3 liter, so it gets real decent mileage. It's got the big 34-gallon gas tank. It came from the factory with a tow package, so it's got the bigger brakes and whatnot, and it does a really good job. It does a good job. It's a good old truck. It's not much to look at, but I've got a power probe. Which one is it? I've got Power Probe 1 and a Power Probe 2. I do not have the 3, but I love both of the Power probes. Yes, Doug. Old Blue, the 1990. Yeah, that's what mine is, Willie. Only mine's 1990, and the thing still blows ice cold air conditioning. I cannot complain for a 28-year-old truck. Well, my chat just went away, guys. I don't know if the live stream ended or what happened, but my chat just disappeared. So not sure what's going on. There I am. Here I am. Okay. Hang on, guys. Let me scroll up a little bit. Got the Winnie, got Zip. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Cookie grabber, you're exactly right. Is it possible to put a mulching blades on a 7116, Glenn? Yes. Get the gator blades, and then you can just block off the exit. Mama Sweeter, she's here. You can tell her hello, your very own self, but I will tell her, Lisa, Sandra, Mama Sweener says hello. You know what I'm talking about with the gator blades, Glenn? They're just high lift and they mulch the grass up. Off grid, don't shy away from anything. If you need help, let me know. Robert, play nice. Don't jinx Old Blue. I went through the whole AC system, converted it over to the new the 134, and it's got all new stuff in it, so it should continue to run just fine. I like those old Graveleys, Tim. Do I have a Gator blade part number? I do not. I, I believe if you go to a Simplicity dealer, let the Simplicity dealer know what you have, they can get the Gator blade for you for your deck, or at least get you the part number so that you can order them. Robert, Is your woman within earshot? Do the gator blades cost much? They're usually around $20 a piece. They're going to be in the deck about $60. Okay, Willie, when you say narrow results for the blades, howdy, Ron. For their blades, do you mean they have a good way to narrow down? I'll tell you the hole diameter and the blade length. Is that what you mean? Amelia's making dinner right now. Okay, so she's not within earshot. All right, so I can't tell on you. Darn it. I was going to try. Mike, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Super high lift blades are pretty cool, but hard to find for some mowers. Yeah, they are. I agree. That's why I usually just recommend getting the gator blades and just blocking off your discharge. Heliarch. Guys, everyone say hi to Heliarch. He's my brother from Pennsylvania. We've been friends for many, 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 many years. So say howdy to Heliarch for me. What time do we eat? Glenn. Lisa and I ate at around 3:30, so we're not eating at the moment. We've had our dinner. Polaris four-wheelers, Ryan got one and is popping back through the carb. Any idea? It's a two-stroke. Popping through the carb. The only thing that makes any kind of sense to me is just a little bit of a timing issue. If it's popping back through the carb, that or just a dirty carburetor. Adam, it doesn't matter what time you come in, brother. I'm here. I'm just glad that you made it. You guys, thank you very much for saying hi to Heliarch and welcoming him. I was thinking reed valve too, Heliarch. I'm not sure if it's a slide carburetor similar to what your 350's got. If so, it may just be a backfire issue similar to what you were having. It may be an intake gasket leak. It may be something along those lines. You're always eating except in your sleep. Well, I snack quite a bit. David, don't worry about being late. You're in not the valves. Cookie grabber. Yeah, because there are no valves. That's funny. Okay, let me catch up, guys. Give me just a second here. David Handyman Braun, hello. Very, very glad that you made it in. Rooney, put a new regulator in my hydro. The needle shows it's charging and discharging. I didn't see a spark when I polarized it, so you think it'll be fine. Yes. They won't always spark. Sometimes they'll spark. That was for Sir Rooney. Screwed up today, Zip. Bent the heck out of the 6.5-inch transmission pulley on the 725. Do I happen to have one? My shit-eating grin tell the story. I'm catching up. Hang on. Good idea, Willie. Yes, Joe, on the add some seafoam to your mix and run that through and run the seafoam kind of heavy and try to help clean. You may just be carboned up, which I think is essentially what Willie's saying. Good Lord, 4 tuna melts in a salad? You eat more than I do, Heliarch. No, Tim. The only show that I go to anymore is the Portland show. Did Karen cook it? It shouldn't. If you want Sir Rooney, what you can do is just keep an eye on that needle, and as you're using it, it'll show that it's charging. Just watch for that needle to start coming back. That's just where it's drawing less and less amperage to uh, to charge, and that's saying that your voltage regulator is doing what it's supposed to do. Your half stomach, I can believe that. But Sir Rooney, um, and then you also want to check after letting the tractor sit for about 30 minutes. Check your battery voltage. At the battery, you should be 12.3 to 12.7 volts resting voltage. If you're up over 13 and a half volts, I would say that you're overcharging. But while it's running and charging, you can check the voltage there too to make sure that it doesn't exceed 14 and a half volts. That's the nominal charging rate is 14 and a half volts. So that was for Sir Rooney, Rooney Sears 01. Will do, Mike. I have to check, but I'm pretty sure I've got a spare drive pulley. And they're kind of easy to bend because they're just stamped steel. Talking about the final drive on the back of the transmission, right? Miss Lisa and I sat in the Sears party. This is a kind of a funny story. Lisa and I, just a second. Zero idle. That's funny, Robert. Um, as far as needing a voltmeter, you can actually take a 12-volt light bulb and just hook it one positive terminal to the battery's positive post, one to the negative post. Rev the engine up, and the bulb should only get to a certain brightness and then not get any brighter. If the bulb continues to get brighter as you're ramping the engine speed up, you're sending over voltage. That's a real quick, down and dirty, generic way to check it, Sereni. And Mike, I'll dig. I'm pretty sure I have one. That's all right, Mr. Rosengay. You can be late anytime you want. But next time, I'm just going to ring the bell. He knows what I'm talking about. He just picked up a nice dinner bell today. Okay, before you take the one off the B1, just to give you a heads up, Mike, make sure that you take a piece of emery paper and where the set screw goes down in, and also where the keyway is on the shaft. Make sure you clean that up really, 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 really well so that you have no burrs on it, and it'll slide off. It should just slide on and off just like butter, nice and easy. So Rooney, no problem at all. You know that I'm always happy to do it. And if I'm wrong, then I'll own up to it. But that's a real easy way to do it without a voltage meter is just get a 12-volt light bulb, put it between the two, rev it up. Now, when you rev down um, and your meter comes down, your bulb will dim just a little bit. Then when you shut the key off, you're going to notice that your needle's going to come back to zero. It may dip to below zero real quick and then come back to center. That's the regulator letting go. In other words, disconnecting. And at that point, the light should shine steady on just battery voltage. Start it back up, hit the starter, it's going to dim. Then you start it back up, that light's going to come up and get bright, but it should only get to a certain brightness. If it gets way bright, then like I say, it should. I was married to one like that, Glenn. I was. Turned out, wasn't me. Are you going to leave the B1 all original, Mike? I'm hoping. That thing just looks so nice as it sits. Oh, okay. That's funny, Glenn. I've not been to the post office box in a week, Doug. I will get out there this week. Depends on what the hydro unit is, Guilford. If it is the Vickers or Sunstrand, it takes ATF fluid. That's why it shuts down. Yeah, because your regulator, it's going through your regulator, Willie. So your ammeter is going to be up when it's charging. Then when the battery's almost charged, you're not drawing near the amperage, so it's going to be hovering a little bit above zero. And then when you shut the key off, it's going to want to draw back. It draws back to discharge and then rights itself. That's just waiting on the contacts on that regulator to let go. B1 has a bigger pulley than the 725. Not sure if somebody replaced it. Also, someone did a farm fix and shoved an Allen wrench into the key slot in the B1 trans pulley. Yes, leaving original. Okay, Mike. There were 8-inch and 10-inch low-speed pulleys available from Simplicity and Alice Chalmers for the purpose of tilling. And if memory serves, your tractor has a tiller. So the person that had it did it right. They put, howdy, can't kill me. Great to see you here, brother. They did it right because otherwise you would have cracked an axle tube or busted differential gears. So it's either an 8-inch or 10-inch. Depending on what they decided to put on. If it's the really big one in the 10-inch, that's the one you want for tilling. Never run a 6-inch pulley and a tiller at the same time. I believe you, Hilliard. I do. Check twice, plug once. Another thing I found out is the vacuum fuel pump will pump better with a piece of hose without cracks in it. That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I've had things like that come in where the gas tank's lower in the back underneath the seat pan and it's not getting fuel to it. Why? Well, that 4-foot long hose going to the gas tank's got a crack in it, or just the tiny little breather going from the valve cover to the pulse pump is actually what they call them instead of a fuel pump. Pulse pumps are not sealed very well. And you go farther on a tank of gas. Yep. Robert, I can believe that because you are quite the intelligent one. I did mention the 725 pulley. I needed 6.5-inch, didn't I? I wasn't sure if it did or not. It's a standard 6, what they call a 6-inch. So yes, I know the size of the pulley, Mike. Oh, Glenn, meet Robert. Robert, meet Glenn. Um, Robert's kind of a character, and very witty, and you're very witty, so I figured you two would get along great in here. Oh, you broke the belt? Sorry to hear that. Can't kill me. If it's a half-inch belt, go down to a 5/8 belt. Excuse me. Reverse that. If it's a 5/8 belt, go down to a half-inch belt. That's a good way to do it, Willie. Nope, not squid. He's good with it. He's an electric eel. 3/8 80. 3/8 80. Deck belt on a Cub Cadet or 5/8 80. 5/8 80 makes sense. 3/8 80. I mean, that's a tiny little belt. Um, you're going to need a shorter belt anyway because the belt's going to ride lower in the pulley. So you could probably get away with a 78 inch, a half-inch by 78-inch belt. Can't kill me. Plus, you've got give in the idler, the spring tension on the idler. So half-inch by 78. Give it a try. If it doesn't work, let me know. You're being called for dinner, Robert. Quit fibbing. You're being called for dinner. You see Glenn's comment there? I'm pretty sure he's 110 single phase. You're welcome, can't kill me. Snap ring on the back of the differential is a pain. Yes, it is. They are. They're it, they are what they are, and they are a pain. I know they are, but once they're off, then you'll be able to get your seals replaced and take care of everything else you need to do. And yeah, they are. I agree. What I usually do, Mike, is I go in from the front and I will get just the smallest pin that I can that is rigid enough to get under the ring, under the snap ring, and I'll get it up over the other side and I'll roll that ring around a little ways, put another pin in, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times, and then I just grab it and yank it off, and then I'll pop it out of the groove. Give it a try. Mike the Tractor Guy. Yeah, okay. Robert, take care. It was fun. Charleston with you. See you next weekend. Robert, we'll see you if you haven't left already. Be safe. Enjoy your meal. My advice paid off again about turning off fuel and running carb dry for storage. B112 woke right up, no problems. Yep, it does. You run all the fuel dry, run it out, and even if you've got bad gas in the gas tank that you need to drain out, you're that far ahead of the game, you don't have to pull the carb and rebuild the carb, which is a pain. You shouldn't have to do it again. But Mike, I do need to ask you, on your axle tube, did you make sure that you didn't have, like, here's the tube. Did you make sure that you didn't have a groove where the old axle seals wore into the tube? I like the updrafts, Glenn. I don't have a problem with them at all, but a lot of people do. Um, I rebuild them, and Larry, great to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Um, but I don't have too much of a problems on the updrafts and flow jets. But I've been doing them for many years. Okay, that's great. Because if you had a groove, then um, they would have continued leaking. But since there's no groove, you should be golden. That's wonderful. Very, very good news. So I started talking at the beginning, and I'm going to ignore the comments for a couple minutes. Start talking at the beginning that Miss Lisa and I went down to Indianapolis, and we both ate at the Cheesecake Factory for the first time. And I asked them if I could have Penny as my waitress. They didn't find that amusing for you Big Bang Theory guys. um, I didn't. Our server's name was Elaine, and she was not very attentive, but we did get fantastic food. Lisa was told that the food that she got would not be hot, and it came with these just tiny little slivers of peppers. Oh my lord, they lit me up. Fortunately, they were not cooked into what she got. She got a chicken and cilantro with a brown rice meal. It was very, very good. Fortunately, we were able to pick all the peppers out, and the meal wound up being really good. Got us a slice of raspberry cheesecake that we brought home. We had that last night. But we went down there to the cycle, and this is for Heliarch. Made it down to Cycle Recycle Part 2, finally. I know I've been emailing you about it, telling you about it. We went down there just yesterday, and I picked up everything I needed. I got my fork seals. I ordered my stator. I've got my oil filters. Of course, you got to have those around. My intake manifold O-rings, exhaust manifold crush rings, uh, two brand new mirrors. All three sets of brakes are the same front and back. So there's twin caliper front, single caliper back. So I got all three sets. One's to be shipped. I got a backrest bag that snaps on the back of my backrest so that Lisa behind me has a bag right there where she can store her stuff. And got some miscellaneous bolts for getting the mirrors assembled. Had a little hiccup with one of the mirrors on the way home, kept wanting to drop on me, but we got that fixed and figured out. But the biggest thing was getting that stator ordered so that I can get it put in. And that was just about $400 in parts right there. But to have Honda replace the stator for me would easily be $1,000 bill. So that's not an option. I got all of this stuff for under $400, and I had a $242.10 credit at the place. So my out of pocket was only $144 this time around. But Lisa had a good time down there, and I kept trying to explain to her when she walked in the door, she would understand how when I walked in and asked for something, chances were better than not that they would have it. And I was sending Jonathan around looking for stuff. I had Angie looking for stuff, and I had Rob check on a couple of things. I had all three of them. Not Rob so much, but Angie and Jonathan, I had pretty much running around checking stuff out for me. But Jonathan did a great job finding the used parts for me. Angie got all the new parts ordered for me, put together what she had available that I could bring home with me, and then the rest are going to be drop shipped Tuesday, so I should have everything in, which will be the stator, the intake manifold O-rings, just stuff like that. All should be in by Thursday. So I'll be all ready to pop the engine block down, replace the stator, clean everything up down there, inspect all that, put it all back together, and yeah, see, look, Heliarch, see what Lisa said? Oh my God, they had everything. Literally everything. Everything. There wasn't anything that you. Hey, there's somebody yelling. Hang on, guys. I wonder if my daughter's here. She might be. Give me a second. Get back. No, no, daughter. My dog just decided to go off. Come here. There you go, guys. Hello, Belle. She's wore out whenever Bailey comes over. That's Lisa's dog. They both have a heyday of a time playing and going outside and looking for this and looking for that and looking for the other thing. And they wear themselves out. So I'm sure is Bailey over there crashed out, Miss Zippo. Dog door alarms, yeah. That cycle recycle place, I'm telling you, Heliarch, it's awesome. Off grid, thank you very, very much for coming in. I hope that I caught you before you left. It was great seeing you too. Thank you for stopping by. She's sound asleep. Yeah, well, Belle was, and then something just woke her up. You're still here. Doug's still here. He's just soaking it all in. We're going to give it another 3.5 minutes. We'll cut it at 40 minutes tonight. Be a pretty good stint. We had some good questions come in. We didn't have our resident Bryce this evening, which is unusual. I hope he's okay. Usually Bryce is in here. But yeah, they had everything down there at Cycle Recycle. It was incredible. Was Rhodey in tonight? No, Rhodey didn't make it in tonight. Jonathan didn't either. Rings, Larry. It's smoking, low revs, and low on power. Rings. If the Just a minute, Mike. If the engine is lackluster in power, doesn't have power, and it's blowing smoke, you more than likely need a ring job. I would strongly suggest honing the cylinder and also having it checked to make sure. Tim, enjoy your pizza, brother, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you at Portland this year. It's not that far off. We'll see you. We'll see you. Got to make sure that your cylinder is not egg-shaped, which happens over time, that it gets elliptical like the shape of an egg. Wild Bill, thank you very, very much for coming in and spending some time with us this evening. I appreciate it. It's got to be perfectly round. So it's a little deeper than just rings. You need to make sure that your bore is good and round. No compression in 1 and 4. What is the deal? Wild Smooth, is this a problem that happened or how you got the bike? It was that way when you got the bike. Okay, looks like we might end up going over 40 minutes here. That's how you got, okay. Somebody either maladjusted the valves, didn't adjust the valves right, or your timing chain just needs tension. You can get the specifications on, it's 0.3 millimeters, intake and exhaust. You can leave them just a little bit sloppy. Yes, you got it, Larry. So Wild Smooth. First thing you want to do is there's a process. So make sure that you know the process on what position your engine has to be at to tension your timing chain. Get your timing chain set, the tension set on it. That part's real easy to do. Once you do that, check again on your compression. And you say no compression, my guess is you've just got valves that are hung up. It's weird that it's 1 and 4 though, because 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 are the two that are tied in together. That's weird. Yeah, what Hilliard said, it's fun trying to hold the rotor right where you need it to be in order to tension the timing chain. But wild smooth, that it doesn't it sounds like a valve issue where the valves are just they were adjusted wrong, and because since it was the way you got the bike, and that the valves are either stuck open from being open for a very long time, or okay, Miss Lisa said bye everybody. She's going to go finish mowing. Give me just a second here. Yes, guys, please do hit the like button. I got to get back to Wild Smooth here. Uh, wow, with it being 1 and 4, that's weird. No, it's not weird. It's not weird. That's right. That's right. 1 and 4 it'd be 2 and 3 and 1 and 4. It sounds to me like what happened is that the engine sat for a long time. There's Lisa saying bye, guys. Uh, Said it jumped timing. All right, that's why you don't have the compression. Um, if it jumped timing, that's because they let the timing chain get too loose. So easiest way to work on it is pop the engine out of the frame, take your rocker cover off, be able to inspect your chain, pull your top cover off, and you'll see your cam chain there, and then you'll pull your timing cover off, and you'll be able to get your marks lined up between your cam and your crankshaft. But you will have to pull the stator out in order to look in there and see that you have your tabs lined up the way they're supposed to be lined up. But what I suggest doing first and foremost, you fix the timing, but damage may have happened. Okay. I don't know if those are interference engines or not. If that meaning that if the timing is off, that when the pistons come up, they're going to smack the valves. If they're interference engines, then you probably bent valves, and that's why you don't have any compression. Yeah, Heliarch. That's what I just said. Um, yeah, you're right on the same page with me, Heliarch. Interference engine, and you can hammer the top of the pistons with the valves on. Some of their yes, Glenn, you're talking about the same thing. We're all saying the same thing. Wild smooth interference, right? Uh, it's what's called an interference engine. That just means is if it jumps timing, if it gets out of time, that the valves open when the piston's at top dead center, the two are going to meet, and that's never good. That's what you may have run into. So the best way to find out is to if the engine's already out, if it's not, get the engine out and tear the rocker arm assembly off. It's a job. But I was getting ready to say the one thing that you want to do first and foremost. So Rooney, thank you very, very much for being the first one in and for hanging out all this time. I really appreciate it, brother. We'll talk to you soon. But just to close it up for the Wild Smooth, get the mechanics manual, not a Climber, not a Chilton's. Get the mechanics manual. That will go through absolutely everything that you need to know to properly diagnose and repair that engine. CB350F engines are not that common. They don't come up that often. So I will root for Sweden in the World Cup. Football. I will. I will. I will. All right, guys. I went over for 5 minutes so that I could take care of Wild Smooth's questions here. No problem, Wild Smooth. Sorry I couldn't be more help, but as you could glean from the comments as well as me, it's possible that it's an interference engine, and you're looking at bent valves. Uh, Best case scenario is bent valves. Worst case scenario is smashed cam journals, because it's just aluminum caps holding the cams on. If it's interference and it came up too hard, it'll smash. So, all right, guys, this is your friendly neighborhood Zippo. I went 6 minutes over for Wild Smooth. I hope that it helps out. Larry, Glenn, Doug, Heliarch, Mike, David. David, you made it. Uh, I will see all you guys on the next one next Sunday. I'm not positive if I'll be here or not, but I'm certainly going to try to. David, always a pleasure having you in here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glenn, we'll see you. Dave Lambert, hey, you got in just as we were getting ready to end it. We're heading out of here. Milk, take care. We'll see everybody on the next one. It's your friendly neighborhood Zippo. Guilford. It is the smaller younger brother or smaller older brother to the CB750. They're based on the same platform and same design, so it's entirely possible. If it's built like the K1, the single cam, so it may be an interference. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Later. I'm out of here.